Hello and welcome back, adventurers. This is Captain TTRPG, and today we're talking about Pathfinder 2nd Edition. Welcome back, adventurers. It's time to put my LEGO skills to the test while I build today's video about crafting. God, that sounded much better on paper. Don't worry, this won't take quite as long as the athletics video, but it could be just as important just for intelligence-based characters instead of all of those requiring strength. Crafting uses your intelligence. There are quite a few classes that can or must use intelligence as their primary attribute, and some of those even get proficiency in crafting for free, increasing proficiency for free as you level up. More about that later on. There are only a few specific trained and untrained skills for crafting, but there are also a couple that are available to crafting that are available to other skills. So let's start off with those untrained actions that we have. We'll do the shared ones first. First is recall knowledge. Talked about this quite a bit in a previous video. Arcana, I got into it quite a bit. And in this case, you're able to recall knowledge about non-magical objects, engineered objects, alchemical items, things of that nature. You can still use recall knowledge about creatures as long as it's things like constructs. The one unique untrained action for crafting is repair. This is a 10-minute activity, and it uses crafting tools and you need a flat surface. You can't use it on a destroyed item because there's a difference between broken and destroyed. The GM sets the DC, but probably going to be a normal DC for your level. A critical success and you return 10 hit points to the item. On a regular success, you restore 5 instead of 10, but you get 5 more for every trained level. So trained, expert, master, all that. Failure does nothing, and if you critically fail, you deal damage to the object instead, which hurts. You might turn that broken item into a destroyed item, so good luck on that. There is just one trained action that is not specific, and 2 that are. The non-specific trained action is earn income, because you could make money in a village repairing things for people or crafting things for people once you're able to craft them. You know, you might want to craft ammos or weapon or whatnot, and you can make money doing that. The second is craft. You need alchemical crafting, which is a feat for crafting alchemical items, and you need magical crafting if you want to craft magic items. This also deserves its own video, but I'll link a video in the description from how it's played that does a great job laying this out for you. For our purposes, you will be supplying some materials and making crafting checks after spending at least 1 day in downtime. So this is something you're going to take a long time to do, but you can actually craft items. And the final trained action here is identify alchemy. This does take 10 minutes, and you have to have an alchemist toolkit. If you are interrupted, you have to start over. On a critical success and a success, you identify the alchemical item and how to activate it. On a failure, you learn nothing, but you can still try again. On a crit failure, it's so bad that you misidentify it as a different item of the GM's choosing. Notice that the only combat-related action we've even talked about is recall knowledge so far. The major uses of crafting are for outside of combat. A lot of it is downtime actions and actions to take between combat encounters. So let's take a look at the feats and see if that ends up continuing to hold true. While we didn't have as many actions as athletics does, there are quite a few skill feats here to go through. Alchemical crafting, level 1, trained in crafting. You can now craft alchemical items. You get it for free if you're an alchemist or you take the alchemist dedication. This is pretty common to pick up. Second is crafter's appraisal, level 1, trained again. You can use crafting to identify magic items. So out the gate, you can't identify magic items just with the trained action above. This is really useful. Improvise tool, also level 1, also trained. You can craft tools without a basic crafter's book. So if you really just want to be able to make whatever tool you need at the time between combats, again, so I can make it in one action, then great. Improvised tool can be really useful. Things like thieves tools, if everybody forgot them, you might want to craft them. Quick repair, level 1, trained in crafting. You can repair in 1 minute rather than 10. If you're a master, it takes 3 actions. And if you're legendary, it just takes a single action to repair something. This actually can come in handy, especially if somebody you're playing with or you yourself use a shield. You can repair that shield, and that could mean the difference between a broken shield or not. Seasoned, level 1, trained. You gain a +1 circumstance bonus to crafting food and drink, to elixirs if you have alchemical crafting, and to potions if you have magical crafting. The bonus is +2 if you are a master or greater. Can be really nice. You really don't want to fail at making those things, especially when you get alchemical elixirs going on and you've got magic. Specialty crafting, still level 1, trained. You gain a +1 bonus to crafting items that fall into a specific category. I'm not going to list all the categories. You can see them here. But if you're going to craft a lot of a certain type of item, like ammunition, for instance, this can be really useful. When you become master or legendary, then you'll get a +2 bonus instead of your +1. Vicious Critique. Here's an uncommon skill feat. Level 1, trained in crafting and intimidation. You are about to coerce a merchant or crafter. You get to perform a crafting check to hopefully boost your coercion attempt. Extremely situational, but just kind of funny. It's more, I'd say, a role-playing choice than anything else. We get to level 2. Yay! Communal crafting, level 2 and still trained. Another player can roll a check, probably crafting, to help. If they succeed, it'll reduce the cost of raw materials. This can be a really nice reduction in cost when you're trying to do really expensive crafting. But yeah, so this will help you with the craft activity. Cooperative crafting. This is uncommon, level 2, expert. This has really been replaced by communal crafting, which came up more recently, but same basic idea. Another player makes an aid check using crafting to create the item together. It works a little differently, but I just suggest you use communal crafting and don't worry about cooperative crafting. Inventor, level 2, expert in crafting. If you play an inventor, you actually get this at level 1 for free, by the way, if you play that class. You can use the craft action to create formulas. By default, these are common formulas, your level or lower. The GM can allow you uncommon or rare, of course. You need alchemical crafting for alchemical formulas and magical crafting for magical item formulas. But this can be really helpful for you to increase the number of things you can craft more easily. Magical crafting, level 2, expert in crafting, and now you can craft magic items. When you gain this, you gain 4 formulas for common magic items of 2nd level or lower, which is very, very cool to get right away. Keep in mind, you could get this as soon as level 4 for most classes, and level 3 even for some, like Rogue, that get skill feats all the time. Tattoo artist, level 2, trained rather than expert. Similar to magical crafting, but only for magical tattoos. The one bonus beyond the formulas for free is that you get a +1 to the crafting check to create the magical tattoo, or +2 if you're master or greater in crafting. Tweak appearance, uncommon again, level 2 and expert in crafting. You spend 1 minute adjusting the appearance of an ally. This provides a +1 bonus to the ally's performance and diplomacy checks while wearing the outfit, or a +2 if you're master or greater. Just good fun. If you plan on doing a lot of social encounters, this can be a really fun way for a non-socially focused character to get in on the action. Blessed Tonic, level 7, master. So yeah, we got to level 7 finally. A deity granting healing divine font. If you craft using the craft action only an alchemical elixir that heals, it will also give the imbiber 5 resistance to void damage for a round, or 10 if you're legendary in crafting. This is almost the pinnacle of situational, not only to pick it up, but then to actually get value out of it. Bless Toxin, again, level 7, master, a deity granting the harm divine font, and using crafting, if you craft an alchemical poison using crafting, the affected creature reduces any positive healing it receives by 5 for a round, or by 10 if you're legendary in crafting. Now, this is an alchemical poison, which means that you're not having to have them imbibe this, but it's still very situational. Impeccable crafting, level 7, master in crafting, and you took specialty crafting, the previous one we talked about. Anything you craft that takes advantage of your specialty from specialty crafting counts as getting a crit success whenever you roll a regular success on your crafting check. So gonna do a lot of ammunition, you take the right crafting for that, now you're critically succeeding at crafting checks all the time, which is great. Master of Apprentice, uncommon, level 7. If you and an ally are both crafting as downtime events, and you have the higher proficiency, you can roll to aid them, and if your crafting check result is higher, they can just use yours instead of theirs. So basically, you can just craft for everybody. Rapid Affixture, level 7, master. It takes you only 1 minute to affix a talisman. If you are legendary, it takes only 3 actions. We have not talked about talismans on this channel. If you're curious, there are people out there who talk about them. I don't see them used much. They don't seem worth the effort, but if that ever changes, that's going to be a very useful skill feat. All right, we're up to level 15, and there's actually 2 at level 15. The primary one is craft anything. This requires legendary in crafting. You get to ignore the added items, ingredients, and requirements of most items when you craft them. If you want to craft magic items, you still need magical crafting, but if the item requires someone be there casting a spell as an ingredient, you don't need that spell to be cast. You still have to pay any increased cost of ingredients, and you still can't create things like artifacts, but this means you can craft just about anything in the game without needing anyone else. Legendary Tattoo Artist, level 15, interestingly, only Master required. You become legendary in crafting. That's why only Master was required. Also, as long as the tattoo you're crafting is at least 3 levels lower than you are, the actions provided by that tattoo get a +1 item bonus to attack rolls and DCs for those actions. Also, if the tattoo grants resistances, the resistances are increased by 1. If nothing else, as long as you plan to craft any tattoos at all, you can get a nice skill boost with this for free. Like getting to legendary for free is great. So very cool if you're going to be level 15 when you're taking this skill feat. While the actions and feats don't play a direct role in combat, they are extremely strong during downtime and still have an effect on combat via items you craft. Being able to craft magical items or alchemical bombs can change the way you or the team plays, so don't dismiss crafting as a skill. There are, of course, certain classes that will have an easier time taking advantage of this skill than others. Any intelligence-based class, alchemist, inventor, investigator, magus, even though it's not your primary, it's a high secondary for you, psychic, rogue sometimes, witch, wizard, all of these are already set up to use crafting really well. Both alchemist and inventor become trained in crafting at level 1 for free, and each get a free feat, alchemical crafting for alchemists and inventor for inventors. Inventors even get free skill boosts at levels 3, 7, and 15 for the crafting skills, so you don't even have to put points into them. There are also a few archetypes that require proficiency in crafting in order to take them, including assassin, clockwork reanimator, firework technician, living monolith, poisoner, scrounger, snarecrafter, vehicle mechanic, trapsmith, beast gunner, golem crafter, and lich. So crafting is definitely not something you want to completely ignore if you want all options open to you. Rather than think about how you can use crafting directly in any certain pillar or place, it's important to check out the items that exist and consider what you'd want to do with them if you had access to them. In some games, you may be able to get a hold of just anything you want in the game for the right price. Sometimes you're just better off crafting though, or it's the only way you can access the item depending on your GM. This could easily impact all pillars of play. Try to be creative with how you take advantage of this skill, and GMs, please be open to players who want to use crafting. It can really add a lot of dynamic action to the game. Perhaps you want a lower magic campaign, but a player grabs magical crafting. Don't shut them down. Just put the right expectations in place that maybe it'll be hard to find mechanics, or there's going to be some rare materials so they can still do it, but it might take them a little more work to be able to pull it off. If that is a fantasy they're looking for and not trying to break your game world, just let them have their fun. And there we go, another skill down. I hope you found that helpful. Please put any thoughts, questions, or concerns into the comments below. And as always, adventure on.